Welcome to Muse'e de Art du Togo Love. I am Dr. Ryan Vandemere, primary curator of the exhibit you are about to enter. As your humble narrator, I shall offer insight as to what really goes on here within our museum. To begin with, Muse'e de Art du Togo Love is a grand adventure for young and old. Indeed, it is listed by many tour guides and travel agencies as one of their clients' favorite places to visit. Once its visitors enter through its doors, they are instantly transported to another world that does not currently exist upon Earth nor anywhere else. As a master of psychological realism, our beloved Maestro Togo relies upon the 60 years of traditional skills he has acquired as an artist, while utilizing 21st century tools to produce his recent works, including this series, A Day at the Museum. As for his style, Togo insists that both his title and ancillary story or commentary behind each picture is as much a part of each work as the image. Now, shall we begin? If you should just follow me this way. That's it, please watch your step. Our first picture for today is titled, "Where Have I Seen That Before?" queried Mrs. Magritte. At Muse'e d'Art du Togo Love, visitors may often see familiar faces or figures within the maestro's pictures. Some actually believe that they see themselves, and not just in a metaphorical manner. They are truly convinced that the artist used their own face in various portraits, particularly in Togo's museum series. More and more females swear that various nude bodies in paintings were modeled after their own flesh, even if there is no head or face to be seen. For Mr. and Mrs. Magritte, it is perhaps a different story. They are sure that the models in this picture in the museum is identical in some way to themselves, only they cannot figure out what that similarity might be. The conundrum is driving them to the brink of madness. The museum cannot be held responsible for its visitors' stupidity. Dr. Antoinette specializes in works of historical significance. You should know that here at Muse'e d'Art du Togo Love we make a promise to address as many current-day social issues, as well as incidents of historical significance that may yet affect many of our visitors. For instance, on September 8, 1946 at 2 a.m. a Benjamin Farnsworth was driving his car through a torrential rainstorm on the outskirts of Bismarck, North Dakota. Farnsworth was quite drunk at the time since he had been seen at a local bordello partying with the girls, hours earlier. At the junction of Field Avenue and Simpson Street, so an eyewitness claimed, the car was traveling 50 miles an hour or more, when suddenly it swerved for no reason, hit a curb and completely flipped upside down. Farnsworth crawled out through the shattered windshield, but by the time an ambulance arrived, he was dead. As you can see, the maestro has immortalized that historic moment in time in the painting next to the museum's resident art historian. It will forever remind its viewers that one should not drink while driving. This artwork is only one in a series of social commentary pictures which the maestro hopes will, but most likely won't, change our world. For nearly an hour every day Bradley prayed for her to succeed. Persistence is a virtue. Too much persistence is a sign of insanity. But, should we have chased and chastised a certain art lover away from a particular picture when he showed up every day at the same time to stare wide-eyed at that painting, worshipping it while mumbling and muttering, speaking in tongues and praying to that work, crying and sputtering and calling it by name and whispering sweet nothings and even narrating pornographic memories which were surely pure fantasy? Well, you can understand that such a person may have already passed the point of no return when it comes to absurd adoration of a painting. Yes, the maestro was flattered, of course. But, had the young man's mind already entered into another dimension beyond even the hallowed halls of Muse'e? Update: last week, our staff received a copious amount of complaints about the young madman who cursed aloud and smelled exceedingly awful. He had disappeared one night and was never seen again. When questioned by police, the staff would only say that they knew nothing about him. Danger ahead. Though the maestro will admit that he is the first in line to disbelieve someone's alleged ability to foretell the future, he does agree that when it comes to women, he can divine almost immediately if a woman is going to cause havoc in his life. He says that he can see them coming, with a non-existent sign around their neck, warning him to stay away. While that may sound a bit supernatural in itself, one must realize that it is probably just another fabulous personal trait bestowed upon this great genius. Bunny has no need for art in her life. Can you believe that the majority of the world's population has no need for art in their lives? What is even worse, the latest art marketeer polls show that more than half the people who regard themselves as participants in the current art world, and who work in various capacities from top to bottom rungs, are also members of that majority. If that is a fact, then there are approximately 157 true art lovers left on this planet. And that includes the last of the Inuit tribe and 4 elderly natives on the island of Borneo. Have no fear, silent majority. Eventually, all will become members of our savage civilization when they too succumb to the credo that art is money. Each St. Patrick's Day, patrons swear that they can hear a portrait of Mary O'Riordan singing Danny Boy. As you may know, there are many stories regarding supernatural occurrences here at Le Musée d'Art du Togo Love. After several investigations both by noted scientists who debunk paranormal incidents and by amateur ghostbusters, the two factions greatly disagree. Both groups studied the paintings that have allegedly wept tears, screamed, moved across walls, fell from their secure attachments to the floor below, have had figures within the pictures change positions, and, in this case, have had a figure within a picture actually sing coherent tunes at a certain time each year. So far, the scientists have not delivered even one convincing reason for any of the above. Whereas, the amateurs confidently and conclusively report that the place is haunted. Which do you believe? Every Sunday afternoon, Amelia wonders what her life might be without art. Life without art is an ongoing topic of discussion here at Le Musée d'Art du Togo Love. Every day, 20 minutes is set aside for each staff member to contemplate such a catastrophic situation. Their first fear is that they would lose their job even if it is a voluntary position. The second fear is that they would have to find and work a real job in the outside world. They would have to become normal people living ordinary, normal lives. Their third fear is not clear, but it has something to do with art. Somewhere along life's road, Brandy had taken a wrong turn. You have heard of the road not taken? Well, in this case, the road was taken. Unfortunately, it was the wrong road. And so, her entire life has been one calamity after another, and all caused by her personal choices derived from fear followed by cowardice. Naturally, she will blame the wet roadway or blinding rain or his love for his mother, or her own mother's absence of affections for her, or, perhaps, she is a lesbian after all. No, that would mean it was her fault, and that is not acceptable. Therefore, it's obvious to her that he must be a closeted homosexual, which is why this particular episode has also ended in a skidding crash. However, she will admit that she does not manage well in bad weather, and when it comes to deciphering signals, she is nearly blind. Charlotte's obsession became a daily nuisance. Have you ever witnessed a person become totally obsessed with a portrait to the extent that she had to be physically removed by security guards whenever she entered Le Musée d'Art du Togo Love? Such is the case with Charlotte, who had become transfixed, almost hypnotized the first time she gazed upon the maestro's portrait of the late burlesque queen, Betty Page. The next day, Charlotte, a former Catholic nun, had returned to stand in front of the portrait for the entire day. The following morning, she came costumed as Betty Page in hairstyle, black bra and garter belt and stockings and heels. Needless to say, she created quite a stir. As each day passed, Charlotte drew crowds of photo takers. An article about her in the local news drew more voyeurs. By then, she had become a minor celebrity, and she posed provocatively in front of the portrait and even signed autographs for free. Later, she charged a hefty fee. Finally, she had identified so much with Betty Page, she claimed that she was a spiritual vessel for the deceased 1950s pin-up star. She refused to leave at closing time, and so, security guards had to forcibly remove her, kicking and screaming, from the Muse'e. From then on, she was refused entry. Charlotte tried to move her act elsewhere, but with little notice. After that, she disappeared back into society, presumably under a different name. Some say she had returned to the nunnery. Others suggested that she might have committed suicide, or married an unsuspecting man who had known nothing about her past. Or, maybe, she had wound up as a patient in a mental asylum. If anyone knows the true facts involving the whereabouts or death of the woman at the center of this mysterious case, please contact the staff at Le Musée d'Art du Togo Love. And now, my friends, I am sorry to say that our tour is over for today. Please come another day when we shall continue on our journey through Le Musée d'Art du Togo Love. Thank you for coming, and yes, restrooms are through those doors and to your right. Have a nice day.